Hello everybody, how are you all doing this morning? It's now March 1st, about 3:30 in the morning Central Standard Time. I sleep very odd hours, as you guys know by now. And we're going to take a look at NEO. It's been on my mind for a while now, and as you guys know, I like to look at top market cap coins. So let's take a look at the market cap right now, at coin market cap, and we're going to see, I don't know how many times I use coin market cap in that sentence there, to see where NEO currently stands. I don't think I've tackled NEO for a very long time, but I see a lot of opportunity. And whenever I see an opportunity, it would make sense, and it's in my best interest to, of course, do a technical analysis while sharing with you guys as well. I would appreciate it if you guys upvoted this on Steemit, as you guys always do, and I know that. And make sure you guys also like, subscribe, and share the material as well, and retweet it as well on YouTube and on Twitter. And make sure you guys are following me on all three platforms. On YouTube, where you're going to get my videos, on Twitter, where I usually joke around and I post a lot of different charts and my general tone for specific coins throughout that day, and on Steemit, where you most likely get the most information because I post my charts on there and my general bias as well. And it's also a good place to keep track of all my blogs, so you can use it as a reference rather than having to save my charts or having to scroll back in my Twitter feed as well. You're not going to get all the information in one specific spot, and sometimes it's important to combine all three different platforms. So NEO right now in CoinMarketCap, we see that it's sixth. Do you guys remember back in the day when it was $30? I do. Do you guys remember when it was added on bitfinex and it was $12? And I was humming and hawing about buying it. I do. And it didn't really get a lot of exposure and publicity and attention in general until maybe about October, November-ish. That's when it started to really explode. And now here we are, guys. We're sitting at about $129 on average here. So let's take a look at the volume. That's always important. The volume in the past 24 hours, $350,000. For the people that don't know, if you guys go to CoinMarketCap for any coin, click on historical data right here, and then you can see the volume that's been trending for the past few days. And what you can see is that on the 21st to the 25th right here, we see it not even over $200 million. But on the 26th, it recently started to pick up at 292. 27th exploded at 427 million, 315 million right there. And then today, we're sitting at an average of about 348 million. So the general public is extremely interested in it right now, since we're seeing a steady incline in volume right now. So let's take a look at the chart and try to make sense of what's going on. So before we get started here, I want to talk about some theory. Elliott waves, as you guys know, I always talk about, it ebbs and it flows in all charts on different time frames. So for example, we might see 5 waves right here, which actually make one entire larger wave, where when the large wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the subwaves in there are shown, we usually get some sort of ABC correction in here like that. We're not quite there yet right now. There's still a ways to go, and within each subwave as well, for the impulse waves up, don't mind the angle, it's just really steep. You will tend to see 5 waves inside of that one. We'll see 5 waves inside of the 3rd subwave as well. We'll see 5 subwaves inside of the 5th subwave as well here. And they ebb and they flow. Now, what an Elliott wave trader does is they try to make sense of the charts using a very rational type of progression and a systematic flow that makes sense. We use logical arguments to deduce what could be acceptable and not acceptable. And using this type of if and only if sort of statements that flow, we can pinpoint what is acceptable to count as an Elliott wave and what is not acceptable. And we use a lot of different types of deduction methods as well. So general rules is that wave 3 is often the longest but never the shortest, which means that wave 3 can be shorter than wave 5, but it has to be longer than wave 1. Now, it can also mean that wave 3 is shorter than wave 1 as long as it is longer than wave 5. What this basically means is that it just cannot be the shortest wave. So if we find it being the shortest wave, then we know that we're going to be in some sort of trouble. Now, the way that I'm going to count this right now is like this. 1, 2, and this is very, very arguable which one is 3. 3 could be here, 3 could be here as well. But it makes sense to choose the highest peak right now, right? And then we're looking for basically a fifth wave right now. Well, is the fifth wave here, right? That is what we are trying to figure out right now. If we notice this fractal in here, and we notice this fractal in here, what we're actually only counting right now is only 2 waves that have corrected, right? So if I were to draw an Elliott wave on here, the way that I see this right now is that it's missing a wave. It's missing a wave right now. So I'm thinking of entering for a very short-term play right now, okay? And we talked earlier about how wave 3 is often the longest but never the shortest. So let's say that I actually took my Elliott waves right now and I measured this distance right here. I see that this one has gone up about $57. Now I measured this one as well to see how far it has gone up. And I see that it's actually only gone up a smaller amount, right? It's gone up $58. Now, based on this deduction, if I say that my wave 5 is not completed, for an Elliott wave to be formed, what we have to assume is that it cannot be longer than wave 3. Therefore, our maximum target for this particular upcoming wave would most likely be about $155, because it can be equal in length. It just can't be longer than wave 3 right here, because if it was longer than wave 3, then it breaks the Elliott wave rules. And guys, these rules never get broken, okay? If they do, it's something majorly wrong fundamentally that might have impacted it, or we're just counting it wrong as well. Now, the reason why earlier I said this one might be flawed in some way is because it's very difficult to count this specific wave in here, put it that way, okay? If I call this wave 5, I'm missing something inside of here that might not be making sense to me, right? So if I actually counted it, it might have to be something like that. 2, 3, 4, and this is 5 right there. I'm not going to bother changing the degrees, by the way. I'm honestly way too lazy. So if I counted that like that, then we're going to have to assume that this one made a very tiny subwave in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that makes the fifth wave in there like that, right? So I'm just going to pause it really quickly and annotate it nicely for you guys so I can put up in a chart for you to see. So if I just spent a little bit of time drawing this up for you guys. Make sure you go to Steemit if you would like a copy of this. This is how I would annotate it right now. I see this as waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the yellow one will denote the bigger waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And within waves 2 to 3 right now, we see small waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't want to draw the rest in there because it's a little bit difficult to catch, but it's just so you guys get an idea of what is going on. So we are absolutely missing a fifth wave right now, right? We are missing a fifth wave. I want to talk to you guys as well about how the wave 4 territory and the wave 1 act as well. So let me just get my chart in here. If I draw my Elliott waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right here, the wave 1 actually acts as a support because it was previously a resistance. So on the way down, what ends up happening is it acts as a support, right? So it doesn't usually breach this territory by more than a wick in a leveraged market. So what we see right now is that this is actually perfectly supporting it right here, and that would have been a very good signal for people to enter into a long position. Not only was it a good signal because of wave 1 territory, but also because it literally retraced right to the 618 Fibonacci level. That would have been an amazing opportunity for people to enter. What we see right now is wave 4 perfectly retraces to this territory, 618 level, right? That's a beautiful thing as well right here. So yeah. So just make a quick note here, right? We see a perfect retracement to the 0.618 region right here, which signaled for buyers to hold that fib region, and they rushed in. But now the question is, where is wave 5, okay? Where is wave 5? We always have to play the game of probability and try to take the chances that we see. Now, this is a very ugly impulse wave up, guys. I don't think I've seen any chart other than Litecoin that was fairly decent, that wasn't too choppy, and the rest, not really a big fan of it. I mean, let's see if we can do something like maybe a parallel line in here even. Is it even possible to make a parallel line? Let's do it from the bottom end to see if it will work here. So that's actually decent, right? Decent, not the best at all, but it's something I can work with, I think, right? So if we do what we did earlier as well, where we take our fib region or our price range of wave 3 territory, and then we matched it with this right here as well, and we say it can be no more than about $47, what we get actually is pretty decent, right? Take a look at it right here in this channel. So we can expect it to roughly touch this channel and be roughly the same length in terms of magnitude, not length, but in terms of magnitude for price action and direction up there. So I do expect it to hold something like that in here. Let me just delete this region right here just so we can see it a little bit nicer. So for the people that don't know how to make a channel, there's actually a channel tool right here called parallel channel. Just draw your line like how you would draw any line. And then once you have the line drawn, just drag it. And it makes a perfect parallel channel like that, right? That's how you want to make sure that you maintain the parallelity, is that a word? The parallelness, parallelity? I'm making up words now, as you guys can tell right here. So let's see if we can draw a little bit better in here even. So it's just something like that, right? That's actually a really nice line in here. The wave 3 didn't quite touch it, right down there, but that's okay. As long as, you know, sometimes waves 1, or sorry, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 will end up touching it right there. So this is exactly where I expect it to actually trend. It's just a matter of time until it gets there. And I'm going to delete a lot of this as well, just to clear up some of the room and the clutter. So once we get our 5 waves, I mean, we think about it, is it a good time to enter this trade right here, right? Where would your stop loss be if you were to enter a trade right here? So let's say that you entered a trade right around here. I'm going to pull up my Excel sheet for you guys to see as well. Let's say you entered a trade right now where it is, right? Let's just say for a moment that we entered a trade right there, and we targeted about $1.55, 150, say 152.50-ish, right around there. Where would a reasonable stop loss be? What would be worthwhile for you guys to enter a trade in here, right? It all depends on the risk to reward that people think is acceptable. For myself, I like to take at least a 1.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio. And now where's your stop loss going to be, right? Is your stop loss going to be this specific structure right there? That's always an interesting one. If we zoomed into a different time frame, can we actually see anything here? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5. That's the B, and now 1, 2. That's a very weird structure in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might have made a diagonal in here. So this one looks like it could have been completed already if I just, really briefly looked at it here. A, B, C. So it looks like it's about to be completed. If not, right, it can make a few more touches, maybe just a little bit lower, right? So it really depends on how we time this entry. But where is the stop loss going to be to make it an acceptable trade? Right now, we got a 3.3 to 1, right? Risk to reward ratio. Where would your stop loss be? Mine would probably be slightly lower than here, right? Assuming it can get about to this region. So am I okay with a risk to reward ratio of 1.92? Yeah, I'm okay with it, but we also have to think about it from the perspective of percentages. If we look at it from the perspective of percentages, that's a really big loss. So to me, trying to catch a wave 5, and wave 5s can be very unpredictable, we have to keep in mind. Wave 5s can fall very, very short. It can make a truncated fifth where it may not even get up to here, right? So that's one thing to consider as well. Now, if it doesn't get to even there, it can go lower, which is truncated. If it does get a little bit higher, maybe it could make a double top. Who knows? Right there, right? It could literally make a double top, just something like that. right? Or it could just make a normal extension that where we do expect it to get to roughly in the top of that channel before it ends up coming down. So if I were to get my Excel out right now, let's just play with a bunch of different scenarios and say that we entered at 129.9 right here, okay? 129.9. And our target would be about 152.50, okay? And our stop loss would be, say, 118 right here. So I'm just going to put this field in here, and we're going to work it out together. So let's just say we bought, how many NEO do you guys want to play here? What's a reasonable amount? Let's say we ended up playing 50 NEO at 129.5 or something like that, okay? What's Bitcoin doing right now? Is it going up? Nah, it's reasonable right now, okay? It's doing all right. So let's say that we entered, no, I'd play more than that, obviously. Let's say we entered at 129.9 right here. Our stop loss was 118 and 152.50. Okay, 118, 152.50, and realistically we'll target for right around there, and we're playing 100 coins right here, okay? So our loss could actually be very large, we have to remember, because our percentage loss is up to 8.92%, okay? 8.92% that you guys have to understand. We have to understand that we do not try to win every single game. We try to win over time, and that's what makes us a successful trader. We don't care, guys, at all, to be quite honest. If it's just a single win, who cares? We have to make sure we understand that we treat the game like a game of probability, and like we're at the casino where we just keep playing it, and over time we develop, we get some wins, right, over time. So if we look at the risk to reward right now, it's about 1.9. Let's just make sure I got it right. 129.9. Okay, I actually wrote this one in wrong right here in my Excel. 129.9. 129.9. There we go, about 1.9 right there. So what we see is our just looking over here where I've highlighted, what we see is that our risk to reward is about 1.9. Our entry is about 100 and let's get some decimals in here for us. 129.9. Our target's about 152.5, right? Now, it doesn't always mean it's going to hit it, guys, nor does it mean that you guys should always be riding it to hit that specific number. Now, that doesn't make sense either at all, okay? So you have to be mindful of that. Hey, it could possibly correct sometime, right? Absolutely, it can possibly correct sometime, and it may not even hit that number. So you guys have to watch for bearish signs of divergence to see when it starts to level off. Taking profit is really up to you guys. Okay. Now, if I set my stop loss at 118, I have a chance to gain 17.36%, as indicated right here as well, and here. My chance to lose is 9.2%. Right, this is my maximum loss based on my target stop loss right here. That's slightly below the channel, right? That's a very, very acceptable one to me. On top of that, we also take a look, excuse me, we also take a look at, hold on, I'm just checking the charts right now. It's actually going crazy if you guys are looking at the charts here. NEO's doing very, very, very well right now on the charts. So let me just show you guys what I'm talking about on the 5-minute chart, okay? If I look on the 5-minute chart, check that out right here. It's very bullish. In fact, this was the position where people should have entered, right here, where it bounced off of the trend line many times, right? So that's a really good signal. Now, when I say the trend line, I more so just mean the bottom points over here. So let's see how far this can actually get. Now let's go back to the Excel of mine over here. It's very important to incorporate your day-to-day with risk management. If you guys are not trading from the perspective of managing your risk, you got to remember that how do you expect to make more money and keep your money if you can't even maintain it, right? Think of risk management as a way to minimize your losses and to take out the emotional aspect of trading. If you take out that emotional aspect of trading, then you're left with just pure deduction. And if you have a very systematic way of trading that involves numbers and probability, you don't really need to worry too much other than just sticking to what you do once you develop a very good game plan. So Here, let's say we ended up playing heads or tails, okay? If we ended up playing heads or tails, and your buddy comes up to you and he or she says, okay, we're gonna flip a coin, and the risk to reward is 1.9, keep in mind. Every time you win, right, you make the call, every time you win, whatever you want to wager, I will pay you 1.9 times more, 1.9 times more than what you can lose. So let's just say that for each win, you're playing a hand of $12,990, and each time you can win 17.36%. Now each time you lose, you can lose 9.2%, okay? Now that's how you derive the 1.9 risk to reward ratio there, in terms of it being 1.9 times more than what you can lose. So if you take, 1.9 times 9.2, that's how you get this win percentage. So once again, it means you can win 1.9 times more than you can lose, okay? That's a very, very important concept to completely understand. If you guys don't understand this concept, it might be a little bit difficult to wrap your head around many other different styles of trading as well. So let's say that you won 17.36% right here, okay, of $12,990. Well, every time you play heads or tails, assuming, we're just going to say 10 games, okay, 10 games, every time you win 17.36% of 12,990. So each win, you would win $2,255. Now, if you lost each time at 9.2% of $12,990, you'd be losing $2,255, right? Or sorry, $1,195 is what I meant to say. So if you take 5 games, and you take your wins per game, $2,255, and you multiply it by 5, your total wins that you would get is 11,274. Now your losses at 1,195 each, multiplied by 5 games, would be $5,976, right? Yeah, definitely. That makes entire sense, I hope. And now if you take your net profit, that's simple. You just take your total of your 5 games win, subtract your total of your 5 losses right here. So this is how we derive, and this is what I calculate every single time I enter a position, guys. These things are super important for you guys to understand, that if you do not practice and you do not exercise what I am trying to teach you guys right here, then unfortunately you're not going to become successful traders over time. You guys have to make sure you understand risk management, okay? I don't know how many more times I can emphasize this to you guys, that my risk management videos that involve number crunching like this and risk analysis, not many people watch them compared to my targets, predictions. Everybody wants buy and sell signals. The people that simply want buy and sell signals, I can assure you guys that people like me, we will walk over you guys all day and all night, guys, because this is what we do. We hammer out at the numbers until they make sense. Alright, I'm going to mix up a little bit of live trading here for you guys as well, because despite me making a long video, you guys have to also understand that I play multiple positions, right? So I'm just in a short position right now. I'm not ready to enter it yet. So I'm in a short position for NEO right now, and I'm just going to, show you guys why I actually entered. I was warned not to make these types of videos anymore, but I shorted it because I simply just see the R side too high, guys. Simple as that. I'm in a $9,000 position right now. It's leverage. That's okay though. I'm only keeping a very small amount in my margin account now. So if you guys actually take a look at the RSI and the 5-minute chart, we see it very, very, very high right now. We're seeing a series of lower lows in the 5-minute chart as well, right? And it looks like it's down ticking on the histogram here, right? So now I'm actually up already. I'm up 30 to whatever. I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to close mine around $130 here. Okay. I literally just have been entering it right now. This is the last time I've played it, right? I've been shorting it for the past 3-4 minutes here. Okay. So once again, you have to understand that I play multiple positions, guys, throughout the day. And despite me being long biased, I'm going to short the market sometimes when I feel that it's it's gonna downtrend, right? I take advantage of the volatility in the market right now. So I'm up, I don't know, $30-40 right now or something. If I close it there, I'll be like up 70 something dollars. I've just been playing very small positions of, I don't know, I'm up a pretty good amount today, pretty that way. I made a few trades on Bitcoin where I went long at 10,250. I'm eating candy, don't mind me. 7-Eleven candy. I went long on, actually I shorted EOS as well. Yeah, I also shorted Bitcoin earlier. Just some quick gains. And now I'm shorting NEO. It's just too high. Simple as that. It's gotta come down. Candy's really good. I always eat candy whenever I trade. So now there's just a stall here, if you guys notice, right? Market's indecisive. This guy's pushing the market down with a 34,000 NEO position right here. 34,000 times 131. It's like a $500,000 position that he's got in there. So now we're just going to wait to see what happens. He's boxing himself in. That's most likely him in there right now, right? I don't want to be around there in case someone dumps. I want to be a little bit higher than that. Above the guy, above this guy right here, right, with the 100. So I want to be at about 130.08 for a very quick gain here. So we're just going to wait here together until this closes, okay? I really can't see it getting higher, to be honest. I really can't. I see it getting way lower than that. See, we're all the way at the 30 already. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to sometimes make a profit, and I just want to lead by example, right? So, yeah, it's most likely going to come down here. So now what we're doing, if you guys notice right here, is we're testing this 1 minute RSI, right? This is where it bounced before. And the moment that we break this RSI, if you guys see, is going to be the moment where we're definitely going to downtrend a little bit more, okay? So we see just simple 1, 2, there's going to be 3 waves coming down. And I think this guy is going to lift his wall up already. Like, there's not really that much to 981 trying to hold it up right now, right? So even though I missed the original uptrend, I can still catch the downtrend, which is cool with me as well. So we might get one more tiny wave up, like literally just one more tiny wave up, but I also don't see that happening as well. I see more likely to go down than for it to go up. A lot of people have advised me to not do live trades anymore because it gives people an idea of what's in my account, but this is only my margin account, right? I keep a very small amount where I can only play up to about $20,000 that I let myself play. And everything else is just in funding. And I actually liquidated the majority of my funds already. So I've got really nothing online. Yeah, it's nothing really online, guys. I'm not worth anybody's time, put it that way. So now we're just going to wait here a little bit and see what's going to happen, okay? So you notice this RSI support right there? It definitely bounced off of it, right? You guys see how it bounced off of there? Now the market is a little bit indecisive over here. I kind of want to get back to trading, and I don't really care about the profit. I don't know why I entered this trade, actually. The profits to me, like, sometimes it just doesn't really matter that much, right? I don't play for the profits anymore. So, yeah, this guy dropped to about, this was a good one. I could have closed it here, maybe. This is a kind of a big stack right now. The NEO liquidity is really low right now. Well, the liquidity is all right, but the volume I'm talking about is pretty bad right now. So we're just waiting for basically one more peak, where it might make one more peak and then it will come down here. It's just a matter of time, guys. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, it's about at 10,700. That's the reason why it's stalled. But if we look at this candle on the 15-minute chart, ooh, that's a nasty bearish candle. It's so bearish right now. Like, take a look at it, guys. It's bearish because look at where it opened, right? There was so much indecision in between these 15-minute candles that now there's one that's forming inside of it. And I don't see that as a bullish candle in any way. So now we're just waiting for this crossover to happen on the 5-minute chart here. And that's most likely when we're going to see it come down. I'm not too patient today because I want to get this video over for you guys. But it's very important that you guys understand as well that, that in trading you have to make sure you learn through example, right? You learn through example and from other people trading, and once you watch enough live trades as well, you can get inside of their head. Once you get inside of their head, you can also start to mimic a lot of these plays that they make, all right? So we just see more people selling very, very slowly, but what we are 100% sure of is that no one's buying, right? Nobody's buying at all right now, so it makes sense for me to even come down a little bit more. 1, 2, yeah, definitely makes sense. Because, you know, notice how we're hovering right here by this RSI support on the 1-minute chart. Well, we're hovering by it because it's acting as a little bit of a resistance, or sorry, support right now. But at the end of the day, it's just going to end up breaking and it's going to get shattered, in my opinion. There's no way it's just going to bounce up and then start another wave. I mean, we count the waves here, right? Like, the wave count is pretty much done already here, and there's only one way for it to go, which is pretty much down. So yeah, I see this as 1, 2, and there's a small 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in there, and we're getting a series of many rejection candles to the upside that is showing on a very short term more bearish than bullish. So yeah. So now let's see where this is going to go and see how far we're actually going to get. I could have closed it earlier, like right around here, right? I definitely could have closed it earlier, right around there, but I wanted more of a profit. So let's see where this is going to end up. So what we notice here now, guys, is this exactly what I wanted, okay? Take a look right here. We're getting that third peak that I was talking about. 1, 2, the third peak, which now confirms a bearish divergence like this. And this is usually found on a descending triangle. Once you see these patterns a lot, they become very second nature for you guys to notice. Now, this might not look like a descending triangle to you guys right now, but let's give it a little bit of time to see how this plays out, okay? And no worries, guys, this is actually on my trading computer that I'm on right now. I just happen to be trading and recording on it because I've got my software for recording on every computer. So if we take a look right here, right, this could make some sort of pattern like this. We are definitely getting a series of a lower high, and now it's just a matter of waiting to see if we are going to get a series of a lower low as well. Not lower low, but the same low. And eventually, what we like to see is it hammer down on the support until it finally breaks through. So hammer, hammer, right? Does that make sense to you guys? So we want to see a hammer, just hammering it down until it finally breaks down. I really can't see this going up right now. You know, I could be completely wrong, right? But just looking at the level 2 order book here, it doesn't really look like it wants to go up. The buyers are definitely running out right now, and people are slowly unloading, as you guys can see right here. Okay, so let's see if this is actually going to hold true to what I'm talking about in here. Guys, see what I'm talking about though? People are selling. Look at that, we're at the 0.6s already. Now the big question is this, okay guys? The question is, do I want to sell it right in here, or do I want to wait for it to break down, right? Because this to me, look at that, it actually just fell by quite a bit right now. Yeah, I'm cool with this. I want to finish the video. I want to actually get started on an Ethereum video after this as well. So let me take my quick profit in front of you guys right here. It might not actually close right here. We'll see if it actually breaks down or not. I'm just at right there is 17. It's not really much of a profit, guys. It's like $60, $70, whatever. But it's just to show you guys that I've still got it. I've still got the magic. I've got the magic in me. Every chart I touch just turns into gold. So I don't know if they're going to break it, because apparently that's a really big wall. You guys know what I mean? This is a big wall. This guy's still 23. He's trying to chip away at it, see? Chipping away at it slowly. You know, the question is it going to become a descending triangle, or is it just going to break through and become a zigzag? And the answer is probably just going to break through and become a zigzag, to be quite honest. This one's not even going to hold, I don't think. Let's see how anxious people actually get, okay? Nobody. Very low amount. See, take a look. We look at Bitcoin right now as well, we can easily see that you know, that it was running out. Take a look. Bitcoin dropped from about 10,750-ish. Let's take a look at Bitcoin really quickly. Bitcoin, as we can see, tried to hammer at it right there. It's getting a series of rejection candles, like massive rejection candles, guys. Yeah, Bitcoin's not going to be going up right now, put it that way. It got rejected pretty hard already. So we can easily assume as well that Leo is going to pretty much be doing the exact same thing very soon. See, now we're at 130.20. People are hammering at it, right? So let's just get back to my trade right here and see what's going on. See, now people are selling, they want to hammer at this right here. There's not much left. I'm the next guy in line, right? I'm the next guy right there in line. I'll just put mine right at 2 to maximize my gains. There we go. People are starting to slowly dump onto me, as you guys can see here. All right, people are slowing. Doop, 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 doop. People are starting to get nervous. There you go. Honestly, guys, like, you just gotta make a few trades of these a day, right? Like, I'm not greedy anymore. I've killed it. Like, don't take this like I'm bragging or anything, alright, guys? But the reason why I'm not trading heavily anymore is because I don't really need to, you know, put it that way. Some days I just feel like day trading as a game for fun, and then other days it's just like, okay, well, I just want to make videos and help you guys out. If I was chasing profit, I would just be trading every single day, non-stop, not making any videos at all. And people are like, oh, you're only making these videos because you want to make money off of these guys, right? But if I wanted to actually make money, guys, as you know, I would just be trading all day, right? That is the absolute truth. Why would I want to help out people when I can just trade and make a killer profit? Like, now you guys do the math, right? Like, isn't it almost silly when you think about it? Like, how... Oh, geez, I don't know how to say this nicely, so just don't take this the wrong way, okay? But we have to make real life comparisons, right? I mean, I just made like $60, okay, in 20 minutes, which is like what people make in a day at work, right? Which is kind of like crazy if you wrap your head around that. Like, I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just putting it into perspective, right? So imagine just making 2 or 3 of these tiny little day trades a day, okay? Like tiny little positions a day. Well, you're like making a kill. Like, if you can make 250, 500 a day, you know, awesome, right? But all I'm getting to is like, I entered this trade literally in front of you guys, as you guys saw, right? So it was like really heat of the moment during the technical analysis, which happens all the time, as you guys have seen in my other videos as well, right? Like, what you guys gotta just keep practicing. I'm gonna take my $58 profit right here in front of you guys, okay? $58 profit that I made in 20 minutes. Boom. There we go. I'm done my live trade for you guys now for the day. So anyways, while waiting as well, I also made this scenario up. I mean, a really good place to be entering is you know, somewhere around there. Like, I'd probably say, you know, like we'll even say lower, right? Like maybe 124 ranges, 124 to 131, we'll say. And the risk to reward ratio is based on entering, based on 1.9. R 1.9 based on 129.9. okay, so yeah, like, I went through all this with you guys as well, and you guys have to remember a few things. You have to remember that trades can be off. I'm gonna write this in here as well. Trades can completely go against us depending on how BTC moves. BTC can dictate the market. Okay, so you guys have to remember that if you guys ever take one of these trades that I call out, or that I intend to take for myself, that not every single trade is going to be successful, right? Not all trades are winners. We play the odds using probability. We focus on winning over time, and we do not focus on winning every single trade. We must understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint. Focus on taking high probability trades with good risk to reward ratios. You are accountable, guys, for your own decisions, whether it be wins or losses, okay? I'll be very firm when I say that you guys are responsible for your own decisions. You guys can never come to me and think that I'm a financial advisor. You guys have seen the way that I manage my risk in my Bitcoin videos, right? Using laddering, using dollar cost averaging as well, using massive spreadsheets, as you guys have seen. Well, if you guys are not there in terms of skill and you're simply going to copy of trade, unfortunately, it may not always work. So you guys really need to understand that. Number 7, you can never follow anyone blindly, okay? And number 8, trades can completely go against us depending on how Bitcoin decides to move. So make sure that you guys understand all of these concepts, all right? They're very, very critical to understand. And another thing that I also want to point out is that, who knows, wave 4 might even retrace all the way down to like a lower region. That's why I'm saying an entry somewhere between 127 to 124 to 31, right? So who knows? This completely failed move, but I'm willing to risk. I'm willing to risk how much here? $1,195. Now you guys understand that there can be catastrophic failures, right? So, and this is all proportional to your size that you play. Are you willing to lose 9.2%? Are you willing to take on a risk of ratio of 1.9 to gain 17.36%? It is all up to you guys and how much you tolerate pain. You got to understand that if Bitcoin ends up correcting heavily, number 8 there, then this trade could be completely off the table and it could be completely wrong. So please, please, please make sure that you guys understand all of these possible consequences before you even go into a trade. Please think about it very thoroughly. And never, guys, never, ever, ever go into a trade blind, okay? If you go into a trade blind, it can be so catastrophic. And the last thing that I want is for you guys to enter a trade blindly without having all the relevant information. So yeah, I copied and I pasted this as well, and it's all on Steemit, which you guys can find on there. So I think I'm gonna summarize this video. Actually, I already have summarized it. I'm gonna conclude it. This is not a trade like I posted on Twitter as well, guys, okay? I posted on my Twitter. I'm not going to drag it over, but I'll just tell you guys what I wrote. I wrote, this is quite a risky play. Not in terms of risk to reward ratio, but the percentage loss versus percentage gain. Entering blindly is foolish. My goal is to point out possible setups, but I advise against it if you're an experienced trader, right? And to wait for the actual major correction before entering a decent risk to reward setup here. So I'm just going to copy and paste this really quickly so I can delete it as well. Just give me 1 second here, guys. I'm trying to keep my videos as detailed as possible, if you guys have noticed, okay? You have to remember that the work that you put into trading is directly proportional, okay, to your reward. So don't ever take shortcuts, guys. You guys see how hard I work? I'm sure you guys see how hard I work, right? And you have to remember that if you want to become a successful trader, you have to put in the time to study. You have to put in the time to put in the hard work, especially to succeed. I sounded like I'm just walking around in circles. I have candy in my mouth. Let me just chew my candy. I love candy. It's so good. Every time I do a good job, where I meet some of my daily goals, not profit, just goals in general, such as making a tea for you guys or coming up with something clever. Yeah, I like to treat myself to a little bit of candy. So what I was going to say is, my videos are long because technical analysis is long, guys. You got to put in this hard work if you want to reap the rewards in the end. You have to make sure that you plan for all different scenarios, right? So now that I have that out there as well, let's say that this got to somewhere up there. And now that we have all 5 scenarios, right, where we have all 5 waves, well, what's going to happen after? We have to ask ourselves, okay? What's going to happen after is we're going to get a major correction. We're going to get a major correction, and let's say, you know, it's going up there. It'll most likely break this channel, of course, and then it'll most likely downtrend to this region right there after it gets up there. And we're talking somewhere between like $108 to about 115, right? That's going to be the lower support area right here that I'm going to write 108 to 115 support. that'll be for the ABC that I expect to happen. Actually, regardless of how high it gets, I'm almost led to believe that it'll most likely trend in this region right here. That's what I think will happen. A, B, and C. Just something like that in there, okay? That's realistic, right? For you guys to imagine this as well. So we get 5 gigantic waves going up like that. And once we get the 5 waves going up, A will most likely bounce off of there. I'm guessing off of the channel support that's been established, right? It might make a dead cat bounce or whatever. Who knows what it's going to make? But eventually, it'll find its way breaking down into this lower region. It's just usually how it works, guys. It's such a high probability. 38.2 rarely holds. We're talking like 15% or 12% or something that it holds, but this one's got a much higher probability, between I think 25 and 35%, and the golden ratio is much higher as well, like around 40%. So that, yeah, if that's too risky of a trade for you guys to take, then of course the next trade for you guys to be looking at is either playing this bounce right here, but the best one to take, guys, like the absolute best trade to take for the long term is, you wait for a correction into here. Sometimes you guys only need to wait like once or twice a month, right, for a decent risk to reward. And then let's say you ended up I'm just trying to zoom out here. I don't know why I can't do it. That's so weird. That's really weird. Yeah, do you guys see how I can't zoom? I guess that's the most I can go or something right now. Okay, let's try going to a different chart here. Okay, now let's say that we have this lower support region. I'll just write that in there, okay, in that C zone. So let's say we ended up correcting to there, and then now we take our Fibonacci extension tool. You guys need to make sure you watch this video, okay? You cannot just enter it blindly right now. If you enter it right now and you hope that's going to get to this target that I'm about to say right now, you guys are going to be waiting for a very long time, okay? So let's say it corrects to about the 0.5 region, guys. There's no doubt in my mind that we can easily see some targets later this year, in the very short term actually. Like one target will be roughly $210, and we'll just go for a target slightly lower than here at around 257. That as our target right there. Okay, actually we'll say 255, and we'll say here 205 roughly. Okay, 205 and 255. That's going to be some of our targets, which I'll write in here for you guys as well. 250, 205 right here, and this one will be about 255 in here. Okay, there we go. So that's a pretty reasonable target, right? Reasonable target right here, which I will make the font bigger. Make sure you guys go to Steemit and you can see all these charts there. Bookmark it, because I don't think that this target is really going to change. We have a lot of relevant information already, just based on an established support line down there especially. So I do see that this is very viable. Okay, so this will be my target 1. I don't know the time frame. Yeah, I can't really say I know the time frame, but what I do know that is I'm fairly confident of this trade. I haven't done any calculations in terms of probability yet. That's something I'll leave for down the road, right? But in terms of it getting there, definitely possible for down the road. So now you guys think of this trade setup right here, right? Even for the basic one, I mean, let's say we go to I'm just gonna go to right in here. I mean, take a look at this risk to reward. Like, we're talking about a 4.4 risk to reward, right? That's a pretty sick setup right there. And this is our support zone right down over here. Now, this setup I'm going to be extremely interested in for down the road. When it hits between the 108 to 115 region, then I'm just going to go for a very longer swing trade position over here. Once we go for a swing trade position right over there, we're going to target, right, 205 for one, and we're going to target 255 for our second position target over here. So yeah, I just want to leave you guys with my NEO analysis. I hope it has been detailed enough for your liking, and I hope that it has met your standards. If it has, make sure you guys go to Steamvote. Steamvote. I can't talk. I've had so much of those sour candies. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And then your tongue feels kind of weird because you've had too much of those sour candies. That's how my tongue feels right now. So make sure you guys go to Steam it and upvote it. Not make sure, but you guys know what I mean. I would really appreciate it if you guys went there and upvoted it, just to show me that you guys appreciate the work as well. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, and retweet, guys. Retweet my charts, retweet the videos if you feel that it has helped you, and we will go from there. Thank you very much for your time and for your support, and always for your love, guys. Hopefully it was worth it. Hopefully it was worth it watching it, I mean, and it'll benefit you guys down the road. Take care now. Bye.